thank Solea for inviting me to come and speak to you all about her candidacy. I really think that Solea is going to be an excellent candidate for District 30 because she is different, and that is what we need. We're always complaining about how nasty politics is, but the only way you can change that is by electing people who have a different point of view. And Solea is definitely a kind, compassionate, and very caring person. And along those lines, Solea is never afraid to stand up for social justice or any other issue that she believes in. One of the things that I respect most about her is that she doesn't wait around to see what other people are doing to follow. Solea is the one who steps up and leads, and we follow her. I believe that Solea has done a great job on our budget committee for the city of the Dalles. This is her second year. She's always prepared, and I value that in our elected officials. So many times they are there for their own gratification or for what it looks like, but Solea is there for the work. And I really respect the fact that I always know that she's ready to roll up her sleeves and get to work because it's the right thing to do, not because it makes her look good. Thank you.
Great.
I have a few words to say about her. I've known her longer than any of you. Solea was born into a life of activism. Her father was in the university in Cambridge, Massachusetts, when I carried her in one of those little front packs to hear Howard Zinn speak. Nice words for a little baby. As a toddler in a stroller, she was pushed alongside Cesar Chavez. We lived in Boston. We were the first state in the Union to be free of Gallo wine and grapes. Her uncle and her mom and dad were the organizers for the nonviolent boycott and civil disobedience training. It was wonderful. So Cesar came a couple of times and marched with us, with Solea right beside him. At age 11, she traveled to the Nevada test site for an event called the Nevada Desert Experience, where she met Attorney General Ramsey Clark, who was there with others demanding an end to above-ground nuclear testing. The next year, Solea joined with hundreds of professional cyclists, although she was not a professional, to ride from Seal Beach, California to San Diego to bring awareness to the dangers of nuclear proliferation. She was the last one to finish the 131-mile ride, showing her strength of resolve at just 12 years old, and she was so happy she could do it. On one of her first summer jobs was working in a group home for abused children. With an overflowing orphanage and not enough foster families in California, group homes housed children who could not return to their abusive parents. Solea was trained and immediately elevated to the position of counselor. She studied the case histories. She worked with the children, and she was in place to monitor the visits between the parents and the children for the children's safety, a painful process for her. She came home very sad those nights. In her early 20s, Solea sat in with the nonviolent protest in Seattle during the World Trade Organization Summit, called now the Battle for Seattle. Peacefully seated in the street, they were attacked with tear gas, and she ran, as so many did, to seek shelter, to cry, and to heave. Throughout all of these activities, Solea was never thinking of being involved in politics, certainly not as a politician. She maintained a working career, a marriage. She has 4 children, but she's always felt responsible to stand in witness against injustice, not as a career path, but as a human being. So why does a full-time working mother of 4 feel she needs to run for political office? What makes a homeowner in the quiet neighborhood of the Dalles into a political activist? Well, take one good look into the halls of power in our country, into the White House, the Congress, many of the state houses, the Pentagon, our prison system, and ask yourself, how can a mother not be a political activist? If we do not repopulate public office with authentic, committed members of our community from top to bottom, who will care for the next generation? Who will ensure access to high-quality health care? Who's going to improve our schools, our infrastructure? And who is going to take back the disproportionate spending on perpetual war? Every office, no matter how humble or great, plays a part in the direction our country is headed. So we say, let's not turn back the clock of progress. But let's turn back the doomsday clock. We have all seen firsthand how grassroots politics is thwarted by establishment politics. And that is precisely why Solea Kabakov is an activist for change. It's not just the poor who are suffering in our country now. It's not just the people in Flint, the immigrants, the blacks, the students deeply burdened with debt, farmers losing their way of life. No, our whole country is suffering now. We need leadership that represents us, not professionals who profit as they betray the very water we drink. Please vote for Solea Kabakov for Oregon State Senate, an honest and devoted leader of the people, by the people, for the people.
Welcome to the political revolution.
Yeah.
When the government abuses its power and puts profits over people, our everyday lives become revolutionary. Turning off the television, putting down your smartphone and walking outside can be a revolutionary act. Sending your child to school with extra food in their lunch to help their hungry friend eat that day is a revolutionary act. Driving less, shopping less, consuming less in general, these are all revolutionary acts. Standing in solidarity with our brothers and sisters who suffer or who are being oppressed is a revolutionary act. Why do we revolt? You know, apartheid was legal, slavery was legal, colonialism was legal, Japanese internment was legal. Right now, today, indefinite detention is legal. Legality is a matter of power, not justice. It's up to us to push back against capitalism and the oligarchy in power and throw a big, heavy, rural Oregon monkey wrench into that mechanism of oppression.
Woo!
And break that machine down so that the people can rise and live in peace. We need to take pride in ourselves and in our communities. We're all revolutionaries in our own ways every single day. We, the people of District 30. I think some people are going to say, Solea Kabakov is challenging Senator Cliff Bentz for this rural Senate seat. Well, I say we're all the challengers, all of us. We're here to challenge the ruling class. We are challenging the status quo, challenging corporate power, challenging institutional racism.
Woo!
We're challenging xenophobia, and we aren't building walls. We're going to tear down the fences that divide us.
Yes. Woo!
And we must challenge the doctrine of fear. Dr. Martin Luther King, I think, said it best and most simply. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. It's simple. That's why with me, as your senator, we will build relationships across the district. This is my strategy. Engaging with communities here in Wasco County, down in Madras in Jefferson County, out to Fossil, Canyon City, Baker City, Lakeview, Burns, Vail, and all the beautiful expanse of that land that makes this beautiful district. We, the people at the bottom, will inform the direction we take. Our communities will prioritize our needs and systematically address them one by one. We must stand up for our rights, and the time for action is now. Just look at where we are now. The poorest county in Oregon is in our district, Malheur County. There's a poverty rate there. According to a study by the USDA back in 2016, the poverty rate there then was 24%. But childhood poverty, nearly 34%. 34%! 3 to 4 kids in every 10 that don't know where their next meal is coming from, that are sleeping on couches, wearing worn-out clothes, shoes that leak, and we know how harsh the winters are in District 30, painfully cold and not able to afford heat. The policies that put us in the predicament we're in now are not going to take us to where we need to be. That's why it's time for change. Change is long overdue. I don't think anyone will argue with that. We refuse to let our children go hungry. We refuse to let our elders live in poverty. We refuse to neglect our veterans. We refuse to oppress our Native American brothers and sisters. We refuse to discriminate against our Black brothers and sisters. We refuse to jail our immigrant brothers and sisters. We refuse to arm our teachers. We refuse to further militarize our police. We refuse to watch our beloved lands perish. We refuse to ignore climate change. And we refuse to be ignored.
Yeah.
Now is the time for us to have a seat at the table in Salem, to speak truth to power and demand our needs be met, not just to survive, but to thrive. Times are hard, really, really hard right now. But there is a path out, a path forward for rural Oregon. Together, we can find that path so that we can all be treated with dignity and respect. We can have living wage jobs. We can. We can have affordable housing. We can take care of our public schools and have free college. We can protect our dreamers. We can live in a clean environment. We can elevate ourselves and our communities. We can. We've got this. We can do this. A vote for me is a vote for the underdog. A vote for who may become the first woman to represent the largest district in Oregon.
Woo!
A vote for compassion. A vote for love. A vote for action. There's a lot of work to do. And it's going to take all of us to move this forward. But in the words of a certain senator from Vermont, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Thank you.
Woo!